Welcome to another edition of Land and Legacy by Griffith Realty. I'm Scott Griffith, President of Griffith Realty, and my sister Carol, Vice President of Griffith Realty. And today we are really excited because we have a very distinguished guest. We have Dr. Matt Outlaw, Superintendent of Brighton Schools. We are so pleased that you can be here today, Matt, because we'll relate this to real estate first, since this is what we do, but I can't tell you how important a good school system is to real estate. I think I used to think maybe we're trying to talk people into it, and there's no doubt people believe it more than I sometimes do. They just can't get over how blessed we are in Livingston County to have such a good school systems, but Brighton in particular is so distinguished. I would like to say it's probably done it without the Carol and I having graduated from there being a good reason for it to get any better. But it's fun to be here because you're an alumni too, and it's just a great opportunity because Carol and I both graduated from Brighton. I did in 75, Carol in 76.
I hate to say that over.
Matt, you graduated. Matt graduated you in
1992.
92.
Yeah.
So
a couple years after, but last century. So.
Yeah, no, right? Last century. Yeah, but so we have lots of fond memories. We were here during years that the school was growing quite a bit. In fact, we were on part-time half days for school for a period while they were trying to expand to high school. At that point, it wasn't the school on the hill, but it was still a middle school up there, the old high school, and they had the new high school and they were expanding it. Since then, I think they're on gym number 3. They're on what? They're on pool number 2. We didn't have a pool when we were there, so things have changed a lot.
Yes,
but it
continues to evolve.
We are very blessed that you what you've done with the school system and the school system we have.
Your stellar leadership.
Yeah,
shines.
Yeah,
Thank you. No, I really appreciate that. Honestly, it's unbelievably to be back. I mean, being in the community where you grew up. And, we were just talking about some of those old stories, and I've lived here for 46 years, and I can remember Main Street and Grand River being a 4-way stop. And,
right.
And
Sure.
the town where it is today, now it's like a little city. It's pretty amazing to be part of it. And I've spent 27 years in a career and worked towards being back here for a long time.
Really?
And, I actually had an opportunity to come back here, but I had already been hired by the Novi School District.
Oh, no kidding.
And so I had all kinds of adventures in Oakland County, Wayne County, and a couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to come back, and it's really special to be where you're from, to be able to give back there, to all of those people that helped me along the way, and then to be in the district where my kids and my extended family are here, and Brighton's part of us. I always say I bleed black and orange.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say you do. It's wonderful. I think we do too. Surprisingly,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that. I'm proud that someone like you can come back here and be that way. I'm also proud of a community that supports the schools the way they do. I briefly mentioned this before we got out. I can't get over how well people have supported in the way of finances. There was a time, of course, property taxes directly went to the schools. Now they pretty much go to the state and they come back. But people have supported the school, and into the extent, and I thought maybe this is a good time to talk about the successes of the amazing bond that was passed. Was it now 2 years ago?
2019.
2 years ago, and it was what, one of the largest bonds ever passed by a school district.
Yeah, the 2012 was the largest.
That was the largest.
Really
Okay,
large.
I remember one of them was Monster.
Yeah, and Dr. Gray did an amazing job working with the school board on that one, and that was a large project, and they did a lot of projects that were. There was a lot of things that needed to be updated.
Yes. Yeah.
This one was a bond really built on going to the next level. So this was a pretty exciting one to be part of, with all the STEAM centers and indoor practice facilities and STEAM centers throughout the district. And there's a lot more things that really separate Brighton from districts across the state. So it's been really fun to do this one.
It's awesome, yeah, and I'm starting to see it. So I've had the opportunity recently to be, we've all seen the indoor training facility being built, but to be in the STEAM center, and just it was very cool and very, very cool, edgy, up to date type thing. Just if it's okay, just because we talk about STEAM, I don't think people get it all the time. Tell us a little bit about what STEAM does, how STEAM works.
Sure. So the letters stand for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Yep.
So STEAM is really, a lot of times people think STEAM is a building. STEAM is not a building. It's not a piece of equipment. It's a way of approaching education. It's an integrated model where there's more of a project orientation to solving real world problems. You can have STEAM education in an English classroom.
Right.
A lot of people think it's all about robots and things, and those are part of STEAM as well.
Sure.
But STEAM is really about a way of thinking. And so, for example, one of the areas I taught language. So in a language classroom, it's I can approach it, with STEAM. I can encourage collaboration. I can encourage innovation, and I can encourage outside the box thinking, critical thinking. Those are things I could do in any classroom. So STEAM, our building, is fantastic because it's going to bring the upper level ideas, and it's an anchor for the district.
Sure.
But STEAM concepts are flowing throughout all of our buildings, and it's shifting the way we think about education a little bit. And I think it's going to prep our students for like a great deal of success in this 21st century economy.
Yeah, I think
jobs are so different.
I think it teaches them real life. Don't get me wrong. I was saying, learning calculus is great, but not knowing where to use it, when you go and use it, all of a sudden it has a life to it that you didn't have. And then when you go out and get a job, that's all they want you to do is use it. They don't even want to care how you got to it.
Exactly.
And so it's a concept that's obviously been developing, and it's breaking that silo learning and putting it all together. It's really good.
I would say just one step beyond that. I think that there's behaviors, there's a way of thinking that you have to have certain attributes in order to be successful in this new economy.
Sure.
You have to be able to adjust and adapt, and you have to be prepared for jobs that don't even exist yet. So it's totally different in education. Before, we were really preparing students for jobs that we knew that they could attain.
Yes.
And we have some of that for sure. But we also have to give them the skill sets to be able to adapt and to flow into future innovation that's going to come down the road. So it's a very different model. So that's why it's so important for us to develop those key skill sets. Again, the adaptability and creative thinking, problem solving, collaboration, the communication skills that you need to have. Those are going to be the anchors for students to be successful really in any of the career that they're going to do in the future.
And I can remember in college, it's the frustration at how they wanted you to think just like a corporate business person. I go, where's the entrepreneurial part? Where's the creative part? And, and that just wasn't the thrust of education at that time in college or in high schools. And now I think it's completely the other direction. I think that somebody started to do that, they'd say, well, that's kind of boring. Let's go back and do something fun, So, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. But in the STEAM centers, we have STEAM centers in every building. And so at the elementary level, we're doing a program called Project Lead the Way, and we've added this year, it's called a special. You have art, you have PE, you have music. Well, now we have those three, and we have STEAM for every child. So every child goes through it. So it's all built on projects, right?
Yeah.
So they'll have challenges. They'll have to learn how to design, and they build these things out of, cardboard and, do things with shoes and all. Just neat things. So they're doing that at the lower level, and then they flow into 5th and 6th grade. And we've added what's called an encore. It's basically like a special, but at the intermediate school level. And so every student is doing that. So through K-6, every student's going to get the foundation in those kind of STEAM concepts. And then once we get to middle school, we're finishing up the STEAM lab over there, but we have all these Project Lead the Way classes, robotics and aviation and all these neat things. And then at the high school, I have a high school student. I'll have another high school student in a couple of years. I'm telling you, the opportunities that are there from our engineering program, our computer science program, this health occupations, this lab that's about to open soon. We're launching a new pre-med program here. And it's a hospital clinic, and there's all these, it's state of the art. And then some of the technology in it, we just purchased this thing. It's called an animatage machine. And basically, if you go to medical school, you do dissecting of human cadavers.
Right.
Well, through technology, they're real cadavers. And using technology, they're able to cut and turn and learn about all the body parts and there's like a lever on it, and you can take a body and you can just lever to like down to bones, and the teacher can use this as an incredible
gosh,
just an incredible learning tool. So I can't even. I'm like we definitely didn't have that when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So they've had some real opportunities here. So I'm really excited. I'm so thankful to the community for their support, because we couldn't have done any of this stuff without the community's support. And we're going to do the community proud, and we're trying to be really good stewards of taxpayer dollars and really put them in spots to really invest in the youth of the community. So
to that degree, I mean, so one of the other things I've noticed, and you'll speak more on that, Ken, but you've actually tried to accommodate different ways that kids learn. I mean, the school's reaching out. It's no more you walk into high school and you follow this. If you walk this way, you'll get through it. If you don't, you're in violation of the system, right? I mean, tell me about, like, you've got some different schools even to that extent, right?
Sure, and it is a big change, because when we were in school, it was a lot different. You had a college prep, and you had it was pretty rigid. And here, a lot of it's the individual pathway, because each student kind of has to find their own pathway, and you're both in the same families, and you have different skill sets and different interests, and it's just like that in my family. It was the same thing. So for us as a school system, we have to really help each student to explore what their passions are, what are their talents. One of the things that at the beginning of my career, I always felt like we were trying to fit the round peg in the square hole all the time, and we were trying to force everybody into that same square hole. So the shift now is really learning about the students, what their talents are, making sure that the students learn what their native genius is, and let's grow into that. I have I had a in-law who was brilliant with his hands. So why in the world would we have him doing something that he's a genius over here? Let's take him down his genius path.
Right.
So we're doing that, and you've got our autos program. If you haven't been to the autos lab, I mean, it's state of the art. Mr. Conley was part of the vision of that many years ago, and he designed it after real world autos. I've never seen a better high school auto lab anywhere.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Of all the schools I've seen, and so there's a lot of that. And there's a lot of opportunities. We do consortium classes where we share with Heartland and Howell, and Howell's got some neat programs like construction trades and firefighting.
Sure.
Right.
So we're meeting students where they are, but we got to grow, lean into their real talent.
Sure. How many students are in the Brighton school system?
So we have about 6,000 in the district that are here, and then we have extended opportunities outside of Brighton, where we partner with some other schools, and we have several thousand people in that as well.
Sure. And
it's grown over the years.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. So my class was 300 when I graduated. That was the biggest class I graduated. What was your size? Do you have any remember?
I think it was 450.
Yeah.
We were 375 in 92. So
yeah, I think my wife's class 5 years after me was at almost 600, and then there was it sort of shrunk down.
Yeah, my brother's class was big. He graduated in 97.
Sure.
So,
yeah, and so it's interesting how there was an ebb and flow. I remember back in the Dr. McMahon days, and they were trying to decide whether to expand the high school or split into two. And I think, of course, we look back and it was a good decision not to, because there was a contraction of the economy, but it's lucky, but it was a good thing. So that worked out well for the school system.
There's huge advantages to a one high school town.
Yeah.
I worked for 11 years in Grosse Pointe, and it was 2 high schools, and we were always tripping over each other and always fighting each other, and a lot of suspicion, and the people. It was a constant battle. So when you have one unified, high school, and we're all heading in the same direction, you're ahead of the game. So I'm glad it's one high school.
And I guess we can't get away with not speaking about the outstanding sports programs of Brighton. I mean, when you're young and you have the ability or want to be physically involved, that is amazing to be able to have the state-of-the-art facilities that we have. Just amazing. The new training building that you can see on Brighton Road. So tell me a little specs about it. You could drive by and it's a big box from outside.
Sure, it's Brighton indoor practice facility. So that's what we're calling it, indoor practice facility. So it will open. I think it may open tomorrow.
Wow.
Okay.
So we have we're about a month behind where we thought we were going to be. We had to spend a little bit more time after the inspectors, and we had to do a couple little extra things with electrical, and you know how construction goes.
Well,
and
new
they know a thing
construction
or two
that
about
didn't
that.
go right the first time.
But I think it's going to open up, and it's going to be unbelievable, the opportunities that are going to go in there. We've expanded our BARC program, which is our youth recreation program, pretty significantly over the last year or so. And we've done that in preparation for the opening of this building as well. And I was just in there today, and it's pretty unbelievable, and how it's come together.
That's great.
It's a large building, and I know we could debate about locations and all of those type of things. It's a big building, but the great thing about it is it's going to bring a lot of opportunities. It's not a lot of places. I don't think there's very few school districts that have anything like this. So it's going to be great for kids, and we're going to fill it with the youth of this community for many years. So
Yeah, that's great.
so it's a big positive, I guess.
That is really good.
Yeah.
And so being so far out of it, so what type, I know you talk about STEAM centers in elementaries, but I don't think about the elementaries that much. But tell me what's going on in the elementaries and middle schools, because we got them. So what type of investments have we been doing there?
Yeah, so as far as the 2019 bond, the STEAM projects were some of the biggest projects in there. STEAM, and then parking lots and some infrastructure type things that are not super exciting. Lighting, windows, doors, like those type of things. We've been doing quite a bit of cafeteria is going to get new flooring next year. And then next year we are doing, or this summer, we are going to be doing an access road, a second access road at Scranton that will come out to Lee Road.
Oh, cool.
And that'll be there. That's going to be a restricted access road. It's not going to be full time. It's going to be for the buses.
Sure.
But that will alleviate
helpful.
traffic on the other side.
Yeah.
Plus, they said it was for safety reasons, it's important to have a second way for emergency vehicles to get in and out also.
Sure.
So we're putting that access road in and redoing their parking lots. Their STEAM work is continuing. That's almost done. So that's going to be great, because we really want to do some great things with Scranton. But STEAM is probably the big story at the lower levels.
So, I mean, we can't, I guess, not talk about education and talk about the sad things that occur now, and the shootings that have happened throughout the country at schools. And I know Brighton's been working heavily on making sure that our schools are secure. I didn't used to be that the superintendent had to worry about the security of the children as much as they do today, I guess. So tell me what's been going on the security side.
Well, with the superintendent role on it, I think is, and obviously I'm biased on this, but I think is the key role.
I imagine.
Because you set the tone for how seriously we take all of these things.
I think you set the vision.
Vision, but really is the expectation, and really it's the energy that goes behind that. Because what you'll see in a lot of places is an investment in bells and whistles and things like that, and they're PR type things with safety, and we've not done that in Brighton or my previous district. We really listen to law enforcement, people that are professionals. They tell us what truly works. What is it that really keeps our students safe? And then we're investing in those things. So I'm really thrilled that we've had a great partnership with our Brighton City Police, the Sheriff's Department, Green Oak. Everybody has really, State Police, everybody has really collaborated and worked with us. And we have big ears. We're educators, so we need to listen to law enforcement.
That's great.
One of the things that we've done that almost no other district has done is we have an officer in every building.
I actually knew this side. That's why I teed you up on this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I piloted this in 2018 in my previous district. And I had read an article about another country that was dealing with the aftermath of some terrorism, and they made a commitment that their schools would be safe, that they will never let their schools ever have another issue. And they put an officer in every building in every school in their entire country, and they have not had any any attacks or anything. And I read that, and working with the police on it, that if we could find a way to sustain that financially, that it's a great investment. So our officers are fantastic. They've got great personalities. We've hired people that fit well at the elementary level, or the kids really enjoy them. They're disarming, their personalities. But if there's an issue, they can flip a switch, and they are police officers, and they're experienced officers.
I got to tell you a great anecdotal story, because I know how effective they are. A former school teacher, she's only been retired a year, showed up at an elementary to help out, and a lady walked out, and she didn't think too much about it, greeted her and wanted to know what business she had on the campus, and specifically asked her some what I call qualifying questions, and then made sure to escort her in. And I thought, wow, this isn't just a figurehead. It's not just somebody having lunch with the kids and making them feel warm and fuzzy about it. This is a person who takes her job serious. And we all agreed, what a great thing to have happen, because she didn't need to know her, and she didn't, and she made sure that it was going to be a reason to be there. I thought, wow, that is really fantastic.
Yeah, and it's I think some people would question having people in the buildings, but it's really worked well. The kids like them. You look at their security desk, and they've got all these pictures from kids, these drawings. Thank you, Officer Ann and Officer Roy. But they have that side of it. For us as educators, like we don't do this for a living.
Right.
And we have a million things on our plates. And the officers, that's their full-time job. It's what they do every day. They never let their guard down, because that is their job. So they're checking doors, they're walking around, they're constantly observing, monitoring cameras, greeting guests, things like that. And then the other thing that they have, which is an added bonus, is they're trained in CPR and all the emergency response.
Right.
We had a serious medical situation with one of our support staff members at one of our schools, and the officer was able to respond immediately, and it just changed the entire. And the principal's like, I don't know what we would have done had he not been there.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
So it's been really great. It's I'm really proud of the work that they're all doing, and really appreciative to the board for their support on this.
I have to say, I don't think there was a time when, people surrender their kids to be taught, but they never thought about having to protect their safety. So now, now it's put a mantle on you that you wouldn't have ever expected, and I think you've stepped up, and it's a wonderful thing. I just can't imagine now the role of the school is also now to have to protect. It's just a different philosophy than we would have guessed nowadays.
But by doing this, teachers can teach.
Oh, that's what. Yeah,
teachers can teach.
They're free to do. They don't have to have one eye over their shoulder, right? Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Teachers feel very comfortable with it. And I've got a lot of really good feedback from staff. So.
Well, I think that you're just to your credit that you've managed to keep Brighton to be an extremely, extremely desirable place to live and bring up your children, and to have them educated here, and to have the school be intricate to the community and be a part of our social web here, and we can't thank you enough, Matt, for speaking today with us and doing that, and making this a great place that we grew up in,
and really excited, if I could just say, I think we're picking up. We're in a great spot as a district, but we'll check back in 5 years. Just watch out. We're on the move. So we're going to go to the next level. So
I'm looking forward to what the next level is, because I don't know what it is. That's great. Well, thanks so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for watching another segment of our Land and Legacy.